Hello, hello, welcome everyone. This is my first time doing my podcast called Show Me the Shift. And so today we are going to be, this is my intro music. I'm really digging it, I'm loving it. And so today we're going to be talking about purpose. For those of you who don't know, I'm Coach Lenora, certified life coach, and a coach that focuses on purpose and abundance, as well as helping people get alignment with where they want to go, who they are, and who the core of the person is, and helping them to get there. And so I'm really excited to have this inaugural podcast launch of Show Me the Shift. And the reason that I picked that name is really because of the fact that I want people to be able to kind of show the shift, right? So I'll be here showing the shift of some things that I learned that were like aha moments, things that have helped me throughout my journey, but as a life coach, especially. But also, I'm going to be inviting people to come into the podcast as well in the future to help them share their shift, like what shifted their mindset, their thoughts, their beliefs, or maybe even shifted them to go on an entrepreneurial route, for example. So I'm going to be focused on quite a few things on this new podcast called Show Me the Shift. And so today, however, we're going to really be focused on speaking to purpose. So that's really what today's conversation is really going to be all about. It's my first one. Bear with me, y'all. I'm just trying to, number one, utilize this platform that's allowing me to stream on multiple platforms at once, which is pretty exciting because I haven't done that before. But also wanting to go through and kind of just share some insights, some information, some thoughts. And this video, I think, will be on various platforms going forward so that way you can come back, look at it later, and be able to review. And then I'm also going to have kind of a quick commercial break during this. And yeah, so I'm really excited. And the commercial break will be a shameless plug for a community that I built. But a little bit about me before I get started in talking today about three of the things that people are when they ignore their purpose, what those things can cost them, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get started, I just wanted to share a little bit of information about the podcast. This is going to be something that I'm going to share because it's bringing two parts of my world together. One part is in regards to my love of coaching, right? Life coaching. I've been a certified life coach for 17 years, since 2008. But also, I have over 25 years of HR experience. So when you show up for Show Me the Shift, sorry, I'm stumbling over my own words, but Show Me the Shift, when you show up for that, it can be one of two areas. It could be multiple areas, right? So it could be about life coaching, principles, mindset, goal setting, things of that nature. Also, different technologies and things that I've been learning about. I may do tutorials on, like, for example, ChatGPT, AI things. It may be tutorials about digital products and making your own ebooks. It could be any number of things that I'll come here with that are just kind of wonderful things that I kind of had a shift about, learned about, and want to share with others. But it also could be about human resources experience, right? So I could come in and want to have conversations about, how to read job descriptions, how to write your resume effectively, how to prepare for interviews. So it's like a marriage of different things that are just all about helping everybody win from whatever direction they can win, right? So that's what I'm really excited about sharing here and making sure that people can just be more bold, right? Be more confident, be more true to who they are in themselves. The other thing that I'm going to focus on in here is making sure that people have a good understanding from another entrepreneur, as I mentioned before, like what things happened with them, because you might find a little bit of yourself in other people's stories, and you might say, oh my gosh, like that's speaking to me. That's somebody who is understanding who I am and what I could bring to the table, and they made that change, and who knows, maybe I can make that change too. Okay. So it's really going to be just a fun, like, podcast for Show Me the Shift about, real people, real stories, real strategies, real support, and helping people to win and get to their next level. So that's what I'm really excited about. So to get started today, we're going to talk about The cost of ignoring your purpose. So I have my notes here. I'm not showing any slide deck or presentation. I probably won't most days, in all honesty. I feel like it's just better to just talk to the screen, look at my notes on my screen, but like reference them, but not really show a full-fledged presentation. Plus, I'm out of the corporate world. The other side that you might not know is that earlier this year, I walked away from my leadership role at a Fortune 250, I think, company, and basically decided to step into the entrepreneurial path myself. The way that I saw it is that I can't help other people to step into their purpose if I wasn't fully and truly walking in mine. And so, based on that, I have stepped out on faith and started my journey of entrepreneurship. And so, I know what that high cost is of not pursuing your purpose because of the fact that even though I was very happy, very content with my job, and really, I mean, the people, I loved everything about what I was doing. It was just this quiet voice inside that was just saying, "This isn't what you're meant to do. This isn't what you're called to do." And we don't have unlimited time, right? And so therefore I said, "You know what? I'm going to have to make some decisions." I'm over 50 years old. If not now, when? And then also the other side to that is, did I want to wait until retirement for all these things to, go the way that I kind of foresaw my future of being that person who owned my own time and was a, as I call it, freedompreneur? Or did I want to do some of those things a little bit earlier when I was healthy enough and, like, I guess you could say from a physical perspective, but also from a health perspective, to be able to do those things in my own way and on my own terms. So, based on that, I don't know. I just feel like it's really important for people to just kind of think through these things. I think sometimes we put things on the back burner. We don't want to realize that, hey, you know what? I actually do have some dreams and quiet whispers that are talking to me that I don't really pay attention to because I don't know how it can happen. And so we're just going to talk about what that, situation can be, right? So here's three things. We'll talk about three today, and then maybe we'll pick up on another couple tomorrow because I'm trying to decide the cadence of this podcast as well. So it could be a daily Monday through Friday, 20, 30 minutes, which is easy to do, right? Or it might be something that's like 2 or 3 days a week. So jury's still out. But that's the great thing. I have the freedom to decide how a podcast that I'm creating will flow and go. So give me feedback in the comments if you feel like this is something that you want to see potentially on a daily basis, or at least be able to go back and look at, or if it's like 2, 3 times a week, be totally fine. I'll take that into consideration. So let's get started. So the high cost of ignoring your purpose, right? So the one thing is that, a lot of times we will put our dreams and aspirations on hold, right? We'll just feel like there's too much going on in our lives. There's too many things that are happening. And so therefore, how can I go about doing this big thing that is my purpose when, number one, I may not even know what my purpose is, right? Some people just truly don't know what their purpose is. But number two, it could be that even if I know what my purpose is, it's a scary thing to kind of step out into what that is. Because if you think about it, one of my coaches and mentors, she's like a multi-millionaire uh, coach who said in a training that I was in at her workshop in Atlanta, she said, look, everything that you're meant to do is going to be on the other side of fear and your comfort zone. And oh, by the way, the thing that you are called to do, the thing that you are supposed to bless others with the most is going to be that thing that challenges you the most. And that was mind blowing to me because when you think about it, we sometimes feel like, no, if it's my purpose to do this thing, then it should be easy. It should be effortless. I should just love and enjoy and want to just step right into it. But sometimes it's those things that you have gone through that have been such a challenge that are the things that you're called into to serve others. So when you think about it, for example, there are people who are bereavement coaches. There are people who are working with people for their divorces, right? They stepped into that, but they had to go through it themselves first in order for them to step into that thing that they are supposed to do. So if you are a mindset coach, for example, guess what? You're going to find that you might be most challenged with your own mindset first, your own way of which you think about things. Because if you're trying to help other people get past that, you have to have gone through some things and you have to have gone through that yourself for you to say, I can be that person to take somebody and transform them from having a negative mindset to a more positive mindset because I have done it myself. So hopefully that kind of resonates and makes sense. But it's a struggle. It's hard. And it makes people feel as though and question their purpose. Like, well, it must not be my purpose because it brings me such anxiety before I get ready to do something about that. Mm-mm. Nope, that's normal. That's what should happen. Believe it or not, that's what actually should happen. You should feel something. If you don't feel anything, then you're probably not called to do it, right? So you should feel something there. And then, when it comes to that, some people just feel like there's something missing in their life too, right? There's something that they're just like, there's this thing, this void that I'm not fulfilling. Yes, I'm doing this. Yes, I have success. Yes, I have the family. Yes, I have these things, but there's something deeper within that is making me feel like something just isn't in alignment. Something just isn't right. And so when you have those feelings, that could be one of the costs as well that can cost you in order for you to not walk in your purpose, not live in your purpose, or maybe even just not acknowledge your purpose, right? Because to me personally, I feel as though every single person on this earth has a purpose for being here, every single one. And you might feel as though, I know for sure my purpose is, and I'm walking in it every day. You could be someone who says, I know for sure what my purpose is, but you just don't know how to do that. And then you could be someone who says, I have no clue what my purpose is. Why am I here? I feel like there's probably something, but I just don't have any clue or understanding or knowledge of what that is. And all three of those stages are okay because it's all about recognizing, right? It's all about knowing where you are now and then figuring out what action you can put behind it if you're not already doing so, so that you can get to your next level and be where you may want to be. Some people don't want to pursue their purpose. Some people are like, nope, I'm totally content being right here, going to work, coming home, going to the gym, going to the grocery store. Like, I don't need to tell my story. I don't need to share information with anyone else. I'm good. I know what I know, and I know that I'm content. And that's okay. It's it's one of those things that, I always think of, however, when I hear people who are like that is I always think of that saying that is the richest place on earth, or the wealthiest place on earth is a cemetery because of the fact that so many people die with treasure still within them. And that's what I think of when people feel that way. It's okay to feel that way, but just know that that could be the case, that your treasure will go with you. And you will never have gotten the opportunity to take that treasure that's within you, that God placed within you, to be able to say, now I can share that with the masses. Now I can share this. It was meant to be for me to go through that, to go through maybe even a test so that I can have the testimony to speak to other people and help them on their journey. Because that's also what it's all about, right? When you pursue your purpose, you're just a few steps ahead of another person. And what you're trying to do is just help to grab that person and bring them up the next rung right behind you and help them to get to their next step and get to their next level and hopefully go through their journey a little bit easier and faster and without as much stress and anxiety and worry than you had to go through it, right? And hopefully you had a coach or a mentor or a supporter who helped you to do the same. And then that way it's like everybody's helping and success loves speed. So the more that you can help somebody else, then the more that person can help somebody else. And it's just a quicker and faster process, if that makes sense. So, all right. Now, again, feeling like something missing, number one, that's one of the main things that can happen when you're not really walking in your purpose and walking in your light, right? The other thing that can be a pain point is wishing you had started sooner, right? It's one of those things that you don't know what you're missing until you start on a journey, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, if I had known it was gonna be like this, I wish I'd started sooner," right? If I had known that I would be able to generate this or work with these types of people and, experience these types of experiences, I would have started sooner, right? And so therefore, it's just like you kinda have to just you question that, right? Right now, when you're not walking in it, like, "Will I feel that way? Will I actually feel like this is something that if I had just started it when I was 30, where would I be today? If I started it when I was 40, where would I be today? If I started it yesterday, where would I be today?" Right? There's never too late of a time for you to get something started. I think that people don't realize, like, I think it's like Colonel Sanders, right? Colonel Sanders started KFC in his 60s. You had Samuel L. Jackson as an actor, did not get started in acting until he was in his 40s, and we've been seeing him on the screen, it feels like our whole lives, and he didn't start until he was in his 40s, he's in his late 70s now, so when you think about it, he's had this huge, expansive I wanna say either the most, um, person in the most movies or the second most movies. I think it's between him and Harrison Ford as having the most movies that have been made with them playing a character in the movies, and he didn't start his career till he was in his 40s. Like, that's mind-blowing, right? And it's just one of those things that I think some people just feel like, I it's too late. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough what you think about, you bring about too, right? So we have to figure out how bad do we want some things, right? How bad do we want it? Because if you want it bad enough, then you'll take the time, you'll take the energy, you'll take the steps necessary to make sure that that thing happens. Like people who go back to college in their 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s for that matter, and they're like, no, I know this is what I want to do. I want to have my college degree. So I'm going to go back. And yes, I might look like that crazy person who's walking around with 20 somethings when I have gray, but that's what I'm going to do because of the fact that I know that I want to step into this season of my experience, right? Of my life. And so, and sometimes we just watch the time go by. We just feel stuck. Stuck is a word that I've heard more in the last 6 months than I think I have heard in my entire life. There are so many people who just feel stuck. They feel like, "I don't know what the next" I'm in this constant, like, repetitive motion, right? As I mentioned before. I get up, I go to work, I go to the gym, I come home. I eat dinner, I go to bed, and I do it all over again. Wash, set, repeat, right? Just keep doing the same thing over and over. Maybe you add the store in there, you add church in there, you add a few other elements in there, but it's the same exact routine and feeling stuck by that as opposed to feeling energized and excited and ready to explore and conquer the next big thing, right? The next big challenge. And so that is one of the things that when you are not in an effort of pursuing your purpose, that can truly make you feel I mean, stuck is the word really when you think about it, but make you feel as though, gosh, I just wish there were more, right? Or I know there's more. I just wish I knew how to pursue more, right? So, and then also just, figuring out how you it's kind of a question that we sometimes have to ask ourselves. How did we get to this point, right? I mean, it's tough love, right? But how do we get to this point? How do we get from being a child with all the potential in the world, right? The boundless wonder and excitement and everything that we had to just shrinking and feeling as though I'm just stuck in this situation. I'm stuck in this life. I'm stuck in the muck and mire of different things, bills and all of that, and then making it so that we sometimes just have to shine that light on ourselves like a big investigator, right? Just shine that investigative light on ourselves and say, "Okay, this is where I am right now, and I've had an amazing journey. I've had some ups, I've had some downs, I've had some sideways and some stagnation, but I am ready. I am ready to do that next thing. I'm ready to go to my next level. I'm ready for more." And when people are at that stage, they need to realize, like, it takes action. It may take a little bit of, gathering information, knowledge, working on your mindset, looking at YouTube videos to kinda help you to get to the right frame of mind to be able to take the action, but nothing happens at all without action. Nothing happens without action, and so that's the one thing that, it's great to say, "Oh, I'm gonna pursue my purpose. I'm gonna go ahead and work with these treasures that are within me. I'm gonna go ahead and do that." And then research, 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 figure out how to do it, research, research. That doesn't get you there, right? It takes the action of saying, "Okay, I'm gonna put one step out, maybe it's just my big toe, and I'm gonna step into the pool and put my big toe out there and say maybe declare a post on, like, say, a Facebook page or Instagram and say, 'Hey, everybody, I'm declaring blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm gonna do. This is where I'm going. This is the action that I'm taking behind my purpose.' If I am to do that, who is looking for something like this? Who would wanna, encourage me on this journey? Who would wanna hold me accountable to my goals of me moving myself from one step to the next? And then it's a scary thought, right? But taking those actions and steps from there, okay? And so based on that, what we're going to do is go through now, and I'm gonna do as I mentioned to you all, I had a shameless plug. So I'm gonna go ahead now and read a little bit about my commercial break. I'm gonna find out how to put a little picture or video up here that does do 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 commercial break. But basically, what I'm gonna do now is take just a moment to talk about my baby. This is what I'm gonna talk about is my online community. It's called the Victorious Movement. And so basically, if you have ever been somebody who I'm going to read it right here. Have you ever felt like you're the only one trying to grow while everyone around you stays the same? You're dreaming big and you feel like you're doing it alone. When you're not surrounded by people who get it, it's easy to doubt your purpose, shrink your dreams, and stay stuck. But inside the Victorious Movement, you're never alone. You're seen, you're supported, and you're coached. And you're surrounded by like minded people chasing purpose, abundance, and freedom, just like you. So, the Victorious Movement is a subscription based online community that can take you to your next level because it should not be a solo journey. That's my commercial. So I'm gonna show you really quickly because, I want people to kinda get a better understanding of the Victorious Movement, but it is an online community. It has recently launched, and it has a number of different elements to it. So one element to the community is our wall, right? So this is kind of a wall, and every day I go out and put questions of the day. Oh, sorry, I was pushing too many buttons, but I put questions of the day. I put things that we're grateful for. We talk about abundance. We talk about, like, for example, God, today I'm grateful for the strength that you give me during hard times. Like, those are just some of the things that we talk through, right? But we also have a classroom element out there where I, as a certified life coach, have taken the time to come up with, and I'll show you really quickly, but different modules that really speak to mastering your mindset, discovering your purpose, setting intentions, the law of attraction. This one is a collective of abundance, YouTube shorts, videos, things that speak to the mindset of abundance. We have ways to monetize ourselves online. We talk about affiliate marketing. I have some human resources 101 tips in here that are great for people who are in the job search, in the job market. We have other things. Oh, TikTok tips because people are trying to grow on TikTok, even though we don't know if it's going to go away or not. But it's a great fun community where you can come in at your own pace, go through the modules, and learn about all of those wonderful areas, but also interact, connect, and engage with other like-minded people who are really, really excited about just working and encouraging each other. Because how often do we get the chance to be around people who do that, right? Who support, uplift, encourage, don't have that crab in the barrel mentality, but have the hey, all of us can get there, all of us can win. So let's support each other in our journey, right? So that is my shameless plug and scene of me talking about the Victorious Movement. All right. And so now we'll jump right back into the very last point in regards to not walking in your purpose and some of the things that it can cost you for not doing that. And the last thing that I will share for not walking in your purpose and holding yourself back is I'm scared to try. Holding yourself back because you're scared to even try. And so some people, some of us, I'll put myself in this category, have had in the past huge ideas, huge visions, right? Huge ways of we're like, if I could make this work, I'd be a multi millionaire. Like I know that I know but the work is too hard, that the way in which I can go about it, I have nowhere to even start. I have no idea how to even do this, right? I remember, I wanna say, and I don't even drink coffee, but I remember I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s, and seeing how much people were, like, addicted to coffee, just different things like Starbucks coming up and all this kind of stuff, and I was just like, "What in the world? Like, why are people so addicted to that?" And I said, the one thing about coffee that I had recognized back then is that everybody always had to make this huge pot, right? Huge pot of coffee. And I always thought there needs to be like tea bags there needs to be coffee bags like that. Like, there needs to be a way in which people can just make an individual cup of coffee. Like, and I just thought of it and I said, "You know what? I bet that's a multi-million dollar idea of people just being able to make an individual cup of coffee." And when I saw the first Keurig pod, I was like, oh my gosh, that was the answer right there. Like, that was how that could have happened, is that you just make something that the water goes through, and therefore you get your own individual coffee. You don't have to make a huge pot. And so, anyway, again, multi-million dollar idea, probably, I don't know, is it a billion? I have no idea. But did I put any action behind it? Yes, I thought of it. It was like a great thought, and it stuck with me for a while, honestly. It wasn't, I mean, I wasn't in the mindset at that age or stage to do anything about it and put any processes in place. But I would dare to say some of you may have had those same type of situations, right? Where you had this fleeting thought or this idea that like popped into your head and you were like, oh my gosh, that's probably like $1 million idea I just thought of. I wonder how I can make that happen. I don't think I can make that happen. There's no way I would even know where to begin to make that happen. But somebody somewhere had that exact same fleeting thought and said, I don't care. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this happen. No matter what it takes, no matter what I need to do, it is going to happen. And that's why we have that in our existence now, right? Is because of the fact that someone didn't just envision it, but they saw the dream through to fruition, right? They didn't know how they were going to do it when they first started either, but they made it happen. And so I think that's the thing. Some of us, we have these big ideas, and some of it's not, I mean, to the point of a Keurig, right? But it could be dreams and ideas for ourselves and things that we can put into place that wouldn't even cost us a fraction of the time, energy, and effort that that Keurig idea would have cost, right? But we just play small. We just say, it's probably not going to happen. It's not going to work out for me. I'm good. I'm just going to be all right. And when we do that, we are really just telling the universe, we're telling God, we don't want the we don't want to take the action because he gives us free will, right? So we don't want to take the action on the thing that he put in our spirit to move forward with. And so we're afraid of failing, we're afraid of being judged, we're afraid of standing out. Some people are afraid of success. Some people are very afraid of success and feel as though, "Ugh, if I do this and I do really great at it, oh my gosh, people are gonna start asking me for money. How am I gonna handle that? My friends and family might start treating me differently. How am I gonna handle that?" Like, people just go down this spiral of what could happen if I do really well and succeed, but then what could happen if I fail, right? And so, but the thing is that all of that is imaginary. All of that is make believe. We don't know what's gonna happen until we do the thing, right? Until, again, we take the action. Once we take the action, then things can happen. Then things can to pass, and we'll have, I almost can guarantee you, you will be equipped for what it is that you need to be equipped for at the time you need to be equipped for it when you do the things that you need to get yourself there. So don't worry about if it's a huge success and how will I handle it if a family member comes out of the woodwork and wants money. Because by the time that you get to the point of having the money where a family member would come out of the woodwork and want it, you're going to already be equipped from all that you've gone through to that point to know exactly how to handle that situation. So we make sometimes believe scenarios in our mind that limit us, right? Hold us back, stop us. But those are not things that we need to worry about at the current stage of where we are. We can worry about those things when we get to that next level. And certain people are built that way, right? They're just like, oh, you have some people, then you probably have seen them in your life where they're just like, I'm not going to worry about that. Cross that bridge when I get to it, right? Cross that bridge when I get to it. They're not worried about those things, imagining what's going to happen. They're like, I don't even know. I don't know what this scenario will be like. I don't even know if that thing will even happen. There can never be a person who's going to come out of the woodwork and want money. Why would I have held myself back? Because I assumed there would be somebody who would, right? And so that is one of the things, judgment is a huge thing too. I mean, I remember I used to be extremely nervous, extremely scared about putting on a camera, going live, feeling like I have to be perfect. I am a perfectionist in many areas of my life. I will admit that. Guilty as charged. However, I have come to realize over the years that perfectionism is boring. Perfectionism is boring. I'll come out here sometimes and I'll just like ramble. I'll have nothing to say. Like, I mean, not on this particular platform with my Show Me the Shift, but there will be times that I will just randomly cut on my camera, go live, not really have a topic to talk about. And I've stepped out of my comfort zone so much with that live aspect of doing that, that now it's like second nature for me to come on, talk to a screen, feel totally comfortable, know I'm gonna, mess up over my words and be okay with it because perfectionism can be boring, right? If I was just here and speaking completely clearly and clearly, then you would just say, "Oh, okay, pass." I mean, you might, you might pass now, but the point of the matter is that it's about having fun. It's about being yourself. It's being your true, authentic self. And in the process of doing that, the people who resonate with you and resonate with what you're talking about will be drawn to you. The people who you repel and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, there she goes rambling again," will be repelled by you. And you know what? That's the wonderful, amazing part of it all, is that your tribe will find you, and then your authenticness will actually send other people running for the hills. And sometimes it's because they can't deal with the truth of what it is that you're talking about, or they don't see the vision of what it is that you're talking about, but that's more for them. Like, that's them, their journey has nothing to do with you and what's called into your heart to go out and share. Excuse me, to go out and share and just speak about with to the world. So on that note, I think I'm done with my very first podcast of Show Me the Shift. I'm so excited that I just did this, that I am going to be kind of coming live and doing this pretty frequently, sharing some information. I'm also going to be pretty soon starting to hold Wednesday webinars, helping people with their purpose as well, like helping people to understand, like, hey, you're not alone. There are people out here who can support and help you. If you have a purpose, you know you want to follow it, you know you want to put some action behind it, but you just don't know how to get those things going, then I'm going to start having some webinars in the near future to just kind of help people to get to that point of being able to say, you know what? She's given me some free steps and tips to help me to get there. And then, oh, by the way, maybe I'll work with her as a coach. Maybe I'll just take the tips and run on my own and do what I need to do in order for me to be successful. To me, I just want everybody to win. That's my true, authentic desire, hope, and dream is just for everybody to win however they want to get there. That's what my goal is. So, on that note, everybody, I hope everybody has an amazing, amazing Monday. I'm going to go ahead and play my outro music, which was my intro music. My sister actually made this theme music for me, so I'm super excited. But I hope everybody has an amazing day. Take care, and we'll connect again soon.